Well, it's the second half of Emmanuel Macron's trip to the Middle East, following his visits to both Israel and the West Bank on Tuesday. In Jordan, he met earlier today with King Abdullah II to discuss working towards a possible two-state solution for the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Arriving in Jordan, Macron faced a hostile protest in reaction to his joint press conference with the Israeli Prime Minister in Tel Aviv. Now, the French president has now arrived in Egypt, and any moment now he will be holding talks with Egypt's president, Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, in Cairo. Well, we're able to talk on the line now from Washington to our guest today, Khaled Elgindy, who is a senior fellow and director of the Programme on Palestine and Palestinian-Israeli affairs at the Middle East Institute in Washington. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Elgindy, for taking the time, first of all, to talk to us. We're seeing a lot of support on the Arab street, as we say, in very many countries for the Palestinians. But it's true to say that until this attack on October the 7th by Hamas on Israel, many Arab leaders appeared pretty happy to sideline the issue of the situation of the Palestinians. How genuine is the concern of many of these Arab leaders?
Well, we have to make a distinction between Arab leaders and the Arab publics. I think most people understand that Arab leaders are authoritarians, they're military dictators or monarchs who don't necessarily represent the sentiments or interests of their people. On the other hand, we know that there is genuine support for Palestinians across the Arab world at a grassroots level, at the level of public opinion. And it's quite intensive, and it's particularly intensive when Palestinians are being killed in very, very large numbers, like we haven't seen in many decades. Of course, the carnage in Gaza is horrific. The situation, as you described in your report, is inhumane. Most of the hospitals have shut down. Entirely as a result of decisions made by Israel and essentially supported by the West.
Emmanuel Macron will be talking to al-Sisi very shortly. What will be the substance of their discussions? What does al-Sisi think, first of all, of this coalition idea that Macron floated? And Egypt really has some particular concerns about refugees ending up in Egypt.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say the coalition idea proposed by the French president is a little bit strange because Israel's military by itself has done considerable damage to Gaza already. Palestinians have no place where they are actually safe. More than half the population has been entirely uprooted and forced to the south, where they are also being bombed. The north is being carpet bombed. It's hard to imagine that anyone would actually want to contribute to the scenes that you're looking at right now by adding more death and destruction to the population in Gaza. So it's not really a viable plan in any strategic sense or in any logical way. I think Egypt has an important role, obviously, because it borders Gaza and it is the main entry point for any kind of humanitarian assistance, which, of course, Israel is refusing in most cases, only allowing very, very tiny amounts of supplies that is completely insufficient for a population of 2.2 million.
I think sometimes people unfamiliar with the area were puzzled at the time it took Egypt to open the Rafah crossing, because although, of course, Gaza is bordered by Israel on the other boundaries, it has that small border with Israel. Why did Egypt take time to open that crossing to humanitarian aid, given that it is an Arab country which expresses solidarity with the Palestinians?
Yeah, I mean, the context here is that Israel has been wanting to push the Palestinian population into Egypt for many decades. And Israeli leaders since October 7th have been saying quite openly that they would like Egypt to be a permanent place for all Palestinians. And this is being discussed in Israel as a legitimate policy option to ethnically cleanse the Gaza Strip. So Egypt's hesitation is in that context. The Rafah crossing is mainly for people. It's not equipped for goods, and Egypt's reluctance was out of a sense that if 1 million or more Palestinians are pushed into Egypt, then we have another catastrophe that has befallen the Palestinian people, because everyone understands that once Palestinians are forced out of their homeland, they're never allowed to return. So I think it's not out of an insensitivity to the situation, but it is Israel that is restricting supplies from entering or fuel from entering. Israel has 4 times bombed the Rafah crossing point between Egypt and the Gaza Strip. So this is an entirely Israeli-created humanitarian crisis.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for your input. Of course, Israel would counter and has been saying today, particularly on the issue of fuel, that they say Hamas has fuel and is hoarding it and should be delivering it to his citizens. So as so often, 2 narratives on what's going on in that part of the world. I want to thank you very much, Khaled Elgindy, for joining us today and for your thoughts on that. Thank you so much.